Estevan Oriol is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
I made it.
I would like to say I'm a fan. I've been a big fan of your work for a very long time.
Thank you.
We have had mutual friends for years and years and years, and somehow I've met you like in passing at random things, but like never really like had like the full like, hey, how you doing? You know,
Yeah.
But it's good to finally be able to meet you and have you on the show, man. You're a legend. So
Thank you.
yeah, I was so happy a few years ago when the LA Originals documentary came out, because there was so much about you and Cartoon Story that like I kind of knew. Like I knew you had like gotten your start with like Cypress Hill and those guys.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like fully aware. You kind of fell into like the photography thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't like you didn't do it on purpose. It was like they needed someone to take pictures, right? Like, can you kind of break down like, because your original role with Cypress was something else, right?
Yeah, I met Muggs in '89, and then through the clubs and all that, I used to work the door, and at nighttime I did construction during the day, and then around '92, he was like, "Hey, I got this job that I want to, that I think you're perfect for." And I was all psyched up, because I've been kicking with Cypress from 89, 90, 91. And then, here comes 92. I thought, like, all right, cool. I'm going to be rolling with them. He goes, but it's with these other guys, the new group I'm starting. I was like, oh, fuck. Well, I'll give it a shot anyways. I'll listen, hear it out. And it was House of Pain.
Shout out to Everlast, yeah.
And he goes, Everlast? I go, oh, hell yeah, because, from working the doors, he used to always come with Rhyme Syndicate and Ice-T and all those guys. So it's, the job is called road manage or tour managing. And at that point in their career, there was nothing. There was just like a demo tape, and the album
Jump Around wasn't a hit yet.
Nothing.
It was just a demo, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was just getting pressed, and we were gonna go do a press run in a van with different label reps, and we go around to college radio and do in stores and record stores, and it's different, the people
way different than what it is now.
Yeah, people don't even know what I'm talking about.
Serious grind, like a serious bunch of guys in a van going across the country, shaking hands.
Yeah, sharing rooms. Going into record stores and they play your song, and you have to like perform it there with like maybe 10 people in the store.
Yo, the record store meet and greets are such I miss them.
Yeah,
because you'd be able to see the underground rap group that nobody really knew about in your hometown.
Yeah,
and they might pop up at like a Zia Records or a Tower Records, and you'd be like, maybe there's 20 other people there to meet them, but you get to meet them. Get an album signed, get a poster signed, get one of those old black and white pictures signed.
Yeah.
So
you would be lucky if it was a Tower Records. Most of the time, it was like a little strip mall record
little mom
store.
and pop spot.
Yeah, and you're like, oh man, but you had to do it. That was part of the deal.
Yeah, because if you did that store might give you better real estate with where they put your album.
Right.
Yeah.
They might put you right front and center. So when everybody walks in, you're the first record they see, or they might suggest your record.
Yeah.
Oh, you like this? Well, you check out House of Pain.
That used to be a thing. You would actually trust the employees at the record store to recommend shit.
And they knew their shit too, which is crazy.
They did.
Like you could go in there and go, that song, like
you might sing
pack
them
it
the
up,
lyric,
pack
and
it
like,
in,
this is
and
it.
They're like, oh yeah, let's jump around.
Yep.
And then you're like, damn, how do they know like lyrics from every song to where they could just direct you to a record?
A super lost art form, being like a record store employee.
Yeah, that was the shit. So that's basically what it was taking them to the in-stores, taking them to radio shows, making sure they catch their flights and be on time for interviews, and then it was if they have to perform, help them out with all that. So I was like, yeah, no problem. The thing was, it was like the only catch in it all is there's no pay, but you do get your travel taken care of, your hotels, and you get this thing called per diems, which is $35 a day for food. So if you save that up, you get $210 a week, and then you're living, on their
free.
dime. Yeah. But you have all your bills back home. So it's like you still have your rent and all your shit to do back home. So luckily, right at the beginning of that, Jump Around took off. And we started, really kicking in. I think at the end of the summer, the band was making like a Gia show. and just to play Jump Around, and the intro is like a 7-minute DAT tape. And so for every 1,000 they would get, they'd give me 100. So it was like 300, 300, 300 for the 3 guys,
100 for you.
100 for me. So sometimes we do 2-3 shows a day, so that I'm getting, you know, 200, 300 bucks a day.
Plus your per diem.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is great. I might never have to go back to construction or
Right.
working the door with a bunch of drunk dickheads, you know, they're all on the guest list. So it was cool. I was like, fuck yeah, I like this shit. And then we were traveling and meeting
You get
all,
to see the country, you get to meet people.
going to all the record, what do they call them? The old, back in the day, Jack the Rapper and
All
those
the conventions.
new music
The
cinemas.
conventions, yeah.
So now you're seeing everybody that you ever listened to all in one place, and everybody's like going to these little showcases. And I was like, you know, I found the job.
Yeah,
for
just
me.
the fact to get paid to do that. And like, I feel like that level of, I think that people who want to get into the music industry these days aren't impressed. Like when I was growing up, I worked for free at the radio station for 2 years because I just wanted to be there. You know what I mean? Like I was like, how can I figure out a way to just pay my bills through hip hop? Because this is all I want. That's all I love. You know, so I would have been happy just, you know, with 10% of the success I've had in my life. You know, You know? So it's like you said, like, yo, you can leave a regular job, see the country, meet some of the people you are fans of, and like do something cool and not have to worry about all the normal bullshit. So
and then every night you're listening to dope music.
For sure.
And then every day you're in the behind the scenes of the guys, some of the guys that are making the hottest music out there.
Period,
Cypress, Funk Dubious, House of Pain. Like our crew was
fucking stellar.
lit right then, you know. So from there it went to you know, we did a tour of the Beastie Boys and we got kicked off because we were a little too rowdy for them. And,
wait, you guys got kicked off tour with the Beastie Boys?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Was there an incident or was there like a...
Yeah, there was a little incident.
Oh, wow.
And we got kicked off, and then Kara Lewis was our booking agent.
Who's still doing her thing.
You've heard that, you know,
She's
on the
still very,
Rakim songs.
Yep.
So I always used to love to say that, you know, like, hey, who do you guys do shows with? I'd say Kara Lewis is our booking agent, you know, from Paid in Full.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, that's kind of like a blessing in disguise because now I can book you guys one-off shows and you guys can do your own thing because the song is blowing up.
Yeah.
So we started doing our own thing, and then we went into the Soul Assassin tour in '93, and that was Funk Dubious, House of Pain, Cypress Hill, and opening up before them was the Hooligans,
which is
Alchemist and Scotty Khan.
Yeah.
So that whole tour was off the chain. Like
crazy.
Everything that could happen happened, and it was one of the best experiences of all of our lives for sure. And then just
real quick, what was it like being around Alchemist as a kid? Because obviously, for people who don't know, Scotty Khan is you've seen him in tons of Hawaii 5.0. I mean, he's in a ton of movies. He's a legendary actor. His dad's obviously, rest in peace to his dad. He's a legend as well. But Alchemist as a kid, you know, one of the most prolific just musical minds we've ever seen. One of the GOATs when it comes to production. What was that like having them on tour? It had to be kind of like a rowdy tour.
Yeah, it was definitely rowdy. It was off the chain, and
they were young, right? Because they
were 15.
Yeah, they were kids. So like, what was that?
It was like my little nephews. You know, like I had to look out for them, and you know, kind of they were already doing their thing. You know, they were already partying and hanging out with girls and stuff. So it was already like there was no. You
didn't have to hide or censor anything away
from them. Keep the kids over here.
They were doing their thing, yeah.
And let's go smoke weed over here or whatever. Or, you know, don't let no girls around them. They're young or whatever.
Right. Like, they were already doing their thing.
Yeah, that was way past that point. So now it's just showing them how to do it the right way, you know? Like, I kind of had to just take Alchemist under my wing, and then he started coming on tour with us after the Hooligans. And he was like he was rolling with us. He would help Muggs with the production stuff, and he'd help me on the tour stuff. And we had little like side hustles that we'd do on the road, and just me and Al, we asked the guys, like, hey, is it cool if we do this? Yeah, go ahead, get your money, do your thing. And I mean, would I ever think like, oh, Alchemist is going to be one of the greatest producers of all times?
Right.
Probably not. Right. Just saw he was a youngster, a little kid, but he wanted to learn so bad, and he was so on it, and he was like on point. Even like helping me, he was like right there, like, hey Al, can you do this? Can you do that? He did everything right. It wasn't like nowadays there's a new generations and they fuck up and they're like, oh, my bad.
And that's it.
Oh, I just fucked this whole thing up.
My bad. That's some real shit.
That wasn't now.
No accountability.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But Al, there was no my bads. He was on it, so you could tell he was going to do something, big, but, you never would know. You never know of anybody's career, like they're going to be a Grammy nominated or whatever,
Crazy,
but to see that is just such a, like, proud moment, for us older guys that were around him when he was a youngster. Like,
Soul Assassins is his legacy.
Groom him,
100%.
And in a good way.
In a good way, of course.
Yeah, because now that word is almost like a bad.
Stay away from that word.
Jesus.
So that tour happens. The Soul Assassin tour happens. How do you kind of walk me through how you end up taking pictures?
Well, I was also I bought a '64 Impala in 1989, and I had it as like an everyday,
It was your everyday ride?
Yeah, bucket. Kind of had like rust spots and stuff, and it had these like rusted out, like mag rims, and I just put sounds in it. I spent like $1,800 on the car. I probably spent another $1,500 on just the sounds, and I'll just roll that car around and just be smashing in it. And then I had a little work truck that I bought for $200. Somebody told me like, hey, I got this truck, I want to get rid of it, it's making this weird noise. The guy didn't know shit about cars or anything. Oh yeah, I'll take it off your hands, And I took it to my homie. He did like a major tune-up on it, another $200, and it worked perfect for 10 years.
Crazy.
So I used that as my work truck, and then I put the Impala away. My homie DC, Donnie Charles, he passed away in '94. He helped me strip down the Impala and put it all into the right shops, and then I just used my work truck for construction every day. But he was a manager of WC in the Mad Circle back then.
Shout out to Dub C, man.
And that was Coolio, Crazy Tunes, Dub C's brother, rest in peace. And then another guy, I think his name was Jim, but there was 4 of them. And Donnie Charles was the manager of them. He had a thing called Hood Rat Records and a car club called Hood Rat Car Club. And then, so he helped me take my car apart. And so from building the lowrider and joining a car club in East LA, and touring, my pops was like, hey man, you're doing a lot of cool shit. You should take photos. But at that time, cameras were like this big.
They're big.
Big clunky.
There wasn't digital screens.
Heavy things. You had to learn shit.
Yeah.
You couldn't just like cheat and look, get it to the perfect place where digital screen is like perfect photo, and then you go, okay, it's perfect. Click. You just had to go with your instincts.
You had to develop a whole roll of film and hope 3 or 4 were great.
Right.
Yeah.
If you got one, you were happy because what can you do with 36 good pictures off one roll of film of one shit? So most people would always say, for old time photographers, if you get one shot per roll, like you're winning.
Yep.
And so my pops put me on to taking photos, so I would do that on my spare time from tour managing. And I never really thought of, I didn't really like the camera because I thought paparazzis or tourists carry cameras around, It looks kind of weird.
Right.
So I would always keep it kind of like to the side, and then if I saw something cool or if the homies were there, I would be like, hey, let me get a flick, and I would shoot. I started off shooting all my homies from my car club in that world, and then shooting us probably on the Soul Assassin tour. I started taking a couple flicks here and there.
Right. Just for you.
Yeah, just for me.
Yeah.
And then the homies would see the pictures. Like, we'd all kind of compare our pictures after and be like, oh, yeah, let me see what you got. Let me see what you got. And I would always notice that my pictures were a little bit different than theirs. I would see theirs and be like, oh, man, like we're right next to each other. How did he get that picture?
How's mine look like this and yours look like that? Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't want to say nothing.
Right.
I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings or whatever. So I just kept doing it little by little. And then as more people would see it, they were like, hey, this is pretty good. And the lady at the photo lab, she dealt with all pros. She was like, hey, can I blow some pictures up and put them in the lobby of the photo lab? And I noticed that she had done that with all the pros before, and she did it, and she sold 8 out of 11 of the photos. And she goes, you know what? I've never sold that many photos here in the lobby of the photo lab, even of the big guys. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't know what that meant,
Right.
She was telling me, you're onto something, stick with it. So I did a little bit more, and then I found... because I was a tour manager, I was the one dealing with all the magazines, the record labels, everybody that was coming through, photographers, magazine
Yeah, you're kind of like
editors,
the line of defense between...
the gatekeeper.
Yes.
So I would set up the interviews. Like, the record label would send me a fax. I don't know if people know what that is.
Frequently asked question, FAQ, or...
No, a fax is...
a fax, like a fax machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So you get this, like, prehistoric paper.
Yeah, it would come through like this machine with a phone, and it was kind of like an email before an email.
Yeah.
You would get a fax, yeah.
It was a paper email.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, yeah.
And it was on a crazy-ass paper. Like, I have some of the faxes from back then. And
it's so crazy how they come into...
Yeah, with the noises and shit on the machine. So I'd get a fax, and it would say 4 interviews, an hour long. So you schedule a time with the guys when they want to do it. So give each person 15 minutes. So I'd do the sound check, then we'd do press for an hour, then we'd do dinner, and then we'd do the show, and then we leave. So for the 4 interviews, it's 15 minutes each. So I had to, be like, okay, cool, we're done. Next, I'm bringing the next interview.
Right.
But I would feel bad for the photographer, because the interviewer would take up 10 minutes, talking to these guys,
right.
which isn't that much time.
It's not.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
But everybody knew the deal. So it was like, you go and get this amount of time. The photographer, and I always see the photographer struggling, like, fuck, where am I going to shoot this classic picture of these 4 guys that are the hottest rappers in the world? And we're backstage at a concert for a 4-page article. Right. And I would see them going like, fuck, man, poor guys, But then I started feeling bad and being like, hey, if you guys need any photos of the guys backstage or on stage during the show, I have photos. And most of them would look at me like, fuck out of here, roadie or whatever the fuck you are. So then I had these little books with my photos in them. They're like, you take these? And I go, yeah, that's why I'm telling you, if you want to use my pictures, here, check them out. So then they started paying me to use my photos
in the magazines.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, we'll give you $250, $500, $1,000, $1,500 to use the photos, depending on the magazine and how big they would put it in there. So I was like, fuck, I could do this. Yeah. This is pretty
nice
cool.
Side hustle.
This is better than the other shit we were doing.
Yeah.
The moving little things of weed or whatever,
Right.
Like, this is cool.
Right.
So I started getting a little bit more serious into that, and I was taking more pictures of my homies at the lowrider shit, more pictures of the touring stuff, and then I learned the language with the magazines, and then I started learning about the videos and got into doing videos, and it took off, slowly, because I wasn't pushing it, because I had a job.
Because you were doing the other shit.
Yeah. But in 2005, those guys were tired of touring. They're like, "Hey, we want to take a little break. Is that cool?" I'm like, "Yeah, you guys you're the boss, like whatever you want to do." But they were getting money from music. But if you're not touring and
You're not
tour
getting
crew,
anywhere. Yeah, right.
yeah, you're out. So they're like, "You good?" I go, "Yeah, I'm good." Like what can I do? So I just said, "Fuck it, I'm going all in with the photos and directing," and it worked out. I never had to go back out on tour again.